quarterbacks were a 50-50 proposition. Half made it, half are busts. That's not happening anymore with these rules. Deshaun Watson can play. Patrick Mahomes can play. Baker can play. Darnold, Rosen last week he had some drops. He can play. Josh Allen looks good enough to play. You don't have the bust rate. Lamar Jackson looked comfortable this past week. So you move these quarterbacks out of college into the pros in the first round, the bust rate has plummeted with these new rules. That Justin Herbert's going to walk in this league and eat it up. He's going to have success. You can't pass on him. Giants and Cowboys telling you they love their guy. When Oregon goes, 9-2 and he throws for 3,000 yards, we'll see. Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Herd on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
Well, a team that definitely has their guy is the Chiefs.
Yes.
Mahomes is talk of the world right now. The 4-0 Chiefs off to a hot start. And Travis Kelce says that's because of a change in the team mentality from last season to this season.
I think the biggest difference is the mentality. Coach Bieniemy brings a fierce, aggressive mentality to the offense, kind of a gritty, punch you in the mouth type of mindset, and I think that has rubbed off on everybody. From Pat throwing the ball aggressively downfield. The play calling is a little bit more aggressive, and sure enough, everybody getting the ball has been a kind of a north runner. There's not too much running sideways. That everybody's getting downhill, trying to finish the plays in the end zone.
There's that word you keep saying, aggressive.
You know what I think about aggressive?
Well,
Got to ask the pretty girl out. Aggressive wins in politics. It wins in sports.
Their defense could use a little more.
Yeah, their defense is. I just don't think they have good players on defense.
But there's another little difference too that may match the aggression from last year to this year.
Yeah,
that's Patrick Mahomes.
Yes, he's more aggressive.
I mean, that's like the biggest knock on Alex Smith.
We can try to overthink it, or we can just go, Patrick Mahomes is the difference.
It's pretty good.
By the way, they were good last year.
Left-hand passes.
They were 4-0 in September last year. And by the way, Alex Smith last year was getting MVP talk, but you can watch it's a different skill set.
The only thing that worries me about the Chiefs is their defense.
Yeah, it should. It's not very good.
They just let up these huge plays.
Oh,
so you have to be able to outscore them.
Listen,
so if they come up against a team that can score as much as they can, then they're in trouble.
You can see them playing New England, and New England having 36 minutes time of possession, and just Brady just picking that secondary apart. You can absolutely see that happening. And Kansas City's offense is just sitting on the bench, and they get cold and they come on and
that's really the only way to beat them because they're going to score so many points.
Case Keenum he made plays last night.
Yeah, until that last drive there. So Fitzpatrick is no more. Dirk Cutter announced Fitzmagic, is no more. Dirk Cutter announced the return of Jameis Winston to the starting lineup, which also means that Ryan Fitzpatrick is returning to his backup role. Here is Cutter and Fitzpatrick on the decision.
Fitz's combination of experience, talent, and leadership is valued at a very high level here. But at the same time, Jameis Winston is the guy that's going to be here way longer than I am. So, he needs to be out there playing, and he will be unless he gets hurt at Atlanta.
That's the right call. He's your franchise quarterback.
Who says unless he gets hurt? Isn't that like an unspoken rule? You never talk about that?
Yeah. I'm going to be here for a long time unless I get laryngitis. Then you're going to get laryngitis. Don't say that.
Look, we knew this was coming.
Yes.
The only way that this wasn't coming was if Fitzpatrick kept playing at the level he was the first 2 weeks, which we knew wasn't going to happen because this is what he does. He has these bursts, and then he turns out to be a backup quarterback again. Yeah. But that's why the backup quarterback is the best position to be because everybody wants to see you, and when you come out and play great, you're the absolute hero. And then when you do bad, it's kind of like, he's the backup, so what'd you expect? I don't know what's going to happen with Jameis, though. He
needs to grow up.
I have my reservations about how that's going to work out long term. Finally, LeBron continues to make his presence felt in the entertainment capital of the world, and his new project, Student Athlete, airs tonight on HBO, 10 p.m., and it examines college sports and the NCAA system. Now, if you remember, in February, LeBron referred to the NCAA as corrupt.
I am so over everybody beating up on the NCAA. You know how many free scholarships they give to these kids?
Oh, let's watch the clip.
God.
And I've always heard the narrative like they get a free education. But you guys are not bringing me on campus to get an education. You guys are bringing me on it to help me get to a Final Four or to a national championship. So You know, it's just weird. It's a weird thing. I'm not a fan of the NCAA. I love watching March Madness. I think that's incredible. I'm not a fan of how the kids don't benefit from none of this. NCAA it's cool.
By the way, here's the other thing, and I know Maverick and I don't know LeBron, but here's the thing. Yes, if LeBron went and played college basketball, or Kobe Bryant or Kevin Garnett, they're getting jobbed. But Kansas sells out regardless of the players, and so does Michigan State, and so does UConn, and so does Villanova. The idea, do you know how many women's tennis players there are, baseball players, hockey players? We look at college basketball and go, those 7 guys are getting jobbed. Yes, if you're as good as LeBron, college basketball stinks for you. But 99% of the kids that go there have zero chance to play in the NBA. And they come out with a college degree. They meet a zillion people. They're not going to play pro. I mean, they get an education. This idea that it's corrupt. Yes, if you are great and you go to Kentucky, Anthony Davis, the system's not really for you. But you only have to wait 9 months until you're drafted and have $60 million in your pocket.
You could also injure yourself and end your career.
Yeah, but in basketball, that doesn't happen much.
My thing with the NCAA is, while you make a point about all the other sports as a broad institution, providing student athletes with the exchange of free education.
Right.
In theory is a nice thing. Unfortunately, there's that $1 billion side of the business that is separated from the students. So I don't. Life isn't fair, right? Like, stuff's not fair sometimes. However, I do think that when there's billions of dollars involved, there's some sort of responsibility to share in the profits of what those student athletes are bringing in. I mean, this college football is a $1 billion business.
I agree. But if a player gets arrested, or if a player doesn't live up to the hype, then does he write the school a check? Because they have to pay for his food, his clothing, his health,
Well, no, they can cut the scholarship anytime they want to. And scholarships aren't guaranteed.
No,
they get renewed every year.
They're not, but you don't. You don't. If you get a reputation in the community where you just let go of players,
that is so like rare. It's like the tiniest percentage.
Everybody's complaining about the NCAA, and here's the takeaway: all this money and we don't get any. As David Shaw says, nobody goes to college to make money. You go to college to learn how to make money.
Yes, if you're a student, but I do think that overall the money that's coming in from the NCAA on the sports side is overwhelmingly mismanaged when you talk about what the student athletes are bringing in. So it'll be interesting to see what this Project LeBron has done.
If LeBron went to college basketball, the system would stink for LeBron for 8 months until he got rich. But let me just tell you something. There's 6 great college basketball programs and 340 that have no talent. And for those guys, I don't think the system is robbing them. I think it does rob some kids at Duke. For a year they get jobbed. They got to go to college instead of getting paid a lot of dough. They have to wait a year. I just think by the way, I just think what we say about the NCAA, and we don't contextualize it, it's not the mafia. It's not whacking guys and throwing them into the Hudson River here. Let's settle down a little bit. It's not like guys, dead bodies floating down a river in the, Piscataway.
No, but I mean, like, there's a gray area, too. Like, we don't have to be on either extreme of it. I just think that the money can be managed in a more appropriate way, considering that there are kids bringing in billions of dollars with their bodies.
Joy Taylor with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line News.
All sorts of stuff today.